That can't be right. Oh, but what if they're real after all? No, that can't be. But what if there's a chance?
Greetings, miss. Is there something that's bothering you?
Oh, no, it's nothing. I'm Della Roche, the representative of the Fontaine Fishing Association. How can... Oh, so you're adventurers. Oh, finally, someone has heard my prayers.
Paimon could tell you were really bothered by something. Don't worry, you've got two super experienced adventurers right here. We'll take care of anything and everything for you as long...
Oh, you are exactly the helpers I need. See, the problem is that the fish around a fishing spot at Araneus have just... They disappeared too quickly for it to have been the work of human anglers. As the representative of the Fishing Association, I had planned to go and investigate the area right away. Right, but unfortunately, as the representative of the Fishing Association, there are...
So you'd like us to investigate the spot for you?
Exactly, you're right on the Mora. So I thought I could delegate this work to you. Are you...
Yeah, we're just really experienced in this kind of thing, that's all.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'll get a good night's sleep knowing the two of you are on the case.
But don't we just need to investigate the missing fish? It really doesn't sound too...
No, you mustn't let your guard down. As the representative of the Fishing Association, I have good reason to believe that the fish have gone missing. Yes, you're both Outlanders, right? Our local fairy tales often speak of a terrifying underwater creature called Telksi. The story our parents would tell us was always the same. If we went to the water alone, then we'd be snatched...
A child eating water imp? Did they tell you what it looked like?
My father would always describe it as a beautiful, multicolored snake woman, while my mother said it had a handsome face. It's really strange, though, because you'd also hear other people describe it as just a chubby penguin with a deceptive appearance. Even though the tales vary regarding its appearance, everyone agrees that it's really dangerous. It lives in an underwater cave surrounded by pallid bones and uses its sensitive nose to track down lonely children who've lost their way. And once it finds a child, it uses its alluring singing voice to lure them into the water before swallowing them whole.
Sounds kinda scary. But isn't that pretty normal?
But what if the fairy tale was inspired by a real-life tale? Just like how a water vein always has a sword. Well, I wouldn't call it evidence per se, but I've heard some rumors lately. They say that someone recently saw a child walk into the water as if he was possessed by something. Doesn't that sound just...
So you mean someone really got...
It's all hearsay, so it's hard to confirm. But still, they all say this happened on Araneus. That's no laughing matter if you ask me. Both the Opera House and the Fountain of Lucine were built there, and the sources of many... Is it really so shocking that an island so shrouded in mystery could harbor a terrifying water imp as well?
Why does Paimon feel like you're pulling our leg? You're just piling on the rumors.
Oh, marvelous. Then I'll just mark the stretch of water on your map. Don't forget that no matter what, safety always comes first.
These look pretty fresh. Did the water imp get someone again? Let's look around and see if we can find anything else. Wait, did you hear something just now? What is that? Don't come any closer!
Paimon? Traveler? I'm sorry. I forgot I was still wearing this. Paimon, are you okay?
Paimon nearly mistook you for a water imp. Thank goodness it was just you wearing your helmet.
Huh? A water imp? Telksy, you say? How surprising.
Huh? You know that name too? Or do you know someone else is trying to investigate the water?
No, I think our situations are probably unrelated. Sure, if that's in order. I know the name because of one of my employers. She noticed the clockwork penguins I brought to the workshop and contacted me through the shop's owner. She has commissioned me to make a special toy. Following her request, I've named the toy Telksy.
Huh? But isn't it a little creepy to name a toy after a water imp? Wait, hold on! Fremina, you know...
Yeah, but, she made a special request, but out of respect for her privacy, I can't really talk about it. It's alright though. She'll be coming over to check on my progress shortly, and I'll just tell her that you're two of my trustworthy companions.
Huh. Even though you seem a little cold and reserved sometimes, you're still really considerate. Our target isn't...
The fish? Ah, I think I may have connected the dots. These past few weeks, I've been taking Telksy for underwater testing every day. So, all that about the disappearing fish? Well, it was probably
So that's all it was? That actually makes a lot of sense. Wait, so could that mean that...
Yes, I think that's quite likely as well.
Whew. So in the end, it was just Fremine. Paimon spent all this time imagining what a water imp from the fairy tales might...
I'm sorry. It sounds like I've created a lot of trouble for everyone else as well. I'll try to finish this commission as soon as possible. Once I'm done, the fish should come back. Thank you.
Actually, how much work do you still have left, Fremine?
Thanks for offering. But I can't trouble you any more than I already have.
Hey, it's no trouble at all. Didn't you just call us your trustworthy companion?
But don't you need to report back to your commissioner?
Nope, that's not how it works. See, Paimon's got these commissioner types all figured out. Even though we were just tasked with finding out, if we tell them now that it was all just a misunderstanding, you can bet they'd just immediately hand us another commission to... Exactly! So if we can help you finish up your work and get the fish back, that would save us an extra trip!
Is that what you'd like to do? Alright, I'll trust your...
So that's Fremine's version of Telksy. It's also penguin-shaped, just like Pear.
Yep. Had Telksy lived in Penguin Town, he'd probably have... it's not really anywhere famous or important. Don't worry about it.
Hey, Telksy. Nice to meet you. Do you know how to say hello?
I wanted to install a language output module, but due to time constraints, I had to give up on the idea. As it stands, Telksy can only output messages that were pre-written into its motherboard. I haven't given him the ability to convert those messages into discernible words, so he can't really talk to us just yet.
No need to get so technical. So basically, you want us to help you complete and install this language?
No, there's no need. That wasn't one of my employer's requests. I have two other things I'd like your help with. The first is to do some integration testing on Telksy's motherboard.
That doesn't sound too hard. And what's the other thing?
The other shouldn't take too long either. You'll need to find Telksy some colorful shells.
A weapon? Well...
Telksy will need to be able to charge forward with a weapon in hand.
What an imaginative employer! Naming Telksy after a water imp, but wanting him to look like a prince?
Well, regardless of his role or species, Telksy's purpose is the same.
Whoa, Telksy just said something again! Could he understand?
He can react to certain key words, but unfortunately...
That's a pity. But anyway, the most important thing right now is for us to get to work.
Sounds good. The motherboard is on my work. Ah, here we go. I have this testing manual, so feel free to reference it if you get stuck. Want to give it a try? It's okay if you don't succeed immediately. I've got a lot of... Okay, knowing you, I'm sure you... You're doing well.
We've taken on a lot of similar tasks before.
Then let's move on to the underwater part. It's just as I meant. Oh, speaking of which, you're both already pretty used. Okay, that's good. Just let me know. We call this thing an echoing conch. It can detect special reflection waves in the water to help us with all kinds. Did you notice any interesting places? The echoing conch should have detected some just now. Let's go check them out. Alright, these should be enough. Let's head back to camp. Thank you for staying out here with me all this time.
Ah, Fremine, you're back. I thought you might have been out diving.
I'm sorry, Madame d'Estray. I must have kept you waiting. I can report, though, that the construction of Telksi is going quite smoothly.
There's no rush. I'm your employer, not your supervisor. And these two are...
Oh, they're two of my trustworthy companions. They're here to help me work on Telksi.
Yes, I see. I suppose it's only natural for someone responsible like you to have some reliable friends.
It's really nice to meet you, Madame d'Estray. Are you Fremine's employer? Paimon is Paimon, and this is the Traveler.
Greetings, my new friends. Just call me Zuria. You are both so adorable. The sight of you reminds me of little fairies under a cottage roof.
Oh, do you really think so?
Of course. If my child had friends like you, then perhaps he wouldn't have become so obsessed with the tales of water imps.
Obsessed with the tales of water imps?
Ah, so you don't know anything about my request.
Well, Fremine told us that it was a private matter, so he didn't want to just share it willy-nilly.
I see. So Monsieur Fremine is even more discreet than I had thought. But it would be quite impolite of me to simply pile all of my troubles on you without your permission. So, would you like to
Sure, you can tell us anything. You've already said nice things about us, so we'll try our best to help you get through your troubles.
Ah, what a lovely little fairy. Then let me think of a way to put my situation into words. Simply put, parents came up with a story, painting water imps as scary abductors in an effort to convince their children to stay away from the water.
Infatuated? With a water imp?
Yes, he told me that he thought the water imp might have just been misunderstood. In his mind, instead of singing to abduct children, the water imp actually sang out of a longing for companionship. As a result...
Huh. So he wanted to become friends with the water imp so it wouldn't be lonely any longer? What do you...
Thank you, little Paimon. He indeed has always stood out from the crowd. He was actually... It's a type of mental disorder. Those affected by it often feel extremely lonely and lose interest in many mundane activities.
Oh no. Is it a very serious disorder?
If you were to become afflicted with the disorder, Paimon, you would only be able to say less than a fraction of the words you're saying to the traveler now.
No! Paimon won't accept that! We would have to find a doctor to help cure Paimon. Paimon has a 2,000-word quota for daily conversations with the traveler, and she won't settle for a single word less!
The family doctor has already begun to treat my son, but since the disorder is rare, there aren't many good regimens for treatment. He's also developed some new symptoms lately, such as uncontrollable
Huh? Uncontrollable what?
Uncontrollable delusions. To put it simply, he can no longer.
Then what is he seeing in his fantasy world?
It's a dream that he often mentioned to me when he was younger. I've compiled what I could understand of his recent rambling.
Amazing! Your son came up with all of this? He really crafted—
But perhaps no beautiful dream can ever last long. You see,
How could the story end like this? Is that kind of fantasizing what caused your son to develop his loneliness syndrome?
Well, it'd be more accurate to say that it was the syndrome that caused such terrible delusions to manifest. But in any case, the biggest problem is the patient eventually.
my poor child can no longer differentiate between imagination and reality. He's begun to see himself as Telksi.
Perhaps in his mind, the loneliness he felt became the same as that of a prince who lost everything he ever loved or stood for.
What? So that's what you meant by uncontrollable delusions. Then we have to help him snap out.
Alas, most of the time he acts as if he can no longer sense or interact with the real world at all. I've had several discussions with— He once wanted to make a picture book of his imaginary world. But since the disorder progressed too quickly, he never quite got past the first page of the book. If we could use—
So Zuria's son also saw Telksi as a penguin. Oh, he looks so sad.
What we should do now is help him complete this picture book. However, we'll lead the story to a different ending. We'll need to chase away his loneliness and sorrow, and let him perceive a world full of hope again.
But if we just need to finish the picture book, why does Femine need to make a Telksi as well?
Because we need to treat the book's story seriously, as if it's a history of things that have really happened. We'll need to go on a journey like Telksi, but my child can no longer go on a journey of his own. This is why I commissioned Femine here to craft a Telksi, and then I'll paint the journey with this Telksi into the picture book.
Ah, like a stand-in for your son! Paimon's starting to get it now. Oh, you really put a lot of thought into this, Zuria.
There are some ruins on the seabed of the Salacia Plains. I've already asked Femine to research them for me. We'll be able to use one of the ruins as the kingdom.
Oh, so we'll just need to act out a performance of, a brave journey through the
Sadly, no. We won't just be putting on a performance. It's just as Zuria said. We need to take this seriously.
So we'll be playing it straight? Or, making it a fully immersive experience?
It's all right. There's no need to get that serious. It's not a big deal. I believe in my son. We can just see this as—
Zuria.
Keep your spirits up, everyone. If we were to look troubled, my son is sure to become anxious as well. We temporarily moved to a place on the hill over there, so my son will have a better spot to convalesce. It's not far from the water, and there's also a great view.
Understood. There's also one last thing. Since these two friends were able to help...
That's great news. I must thank you all. With that in mind, all right, everyone. Let's meet again in another...
Zeria sure is a brave and optimistic lady.
Let's discuss that over by the tent.
What did you want to say?
If you don't mind me asking, I would like the two of you to mentally prepare yourselves. This is the first time that you've met anyone with the syndrome, right? I know you two are both really strong and will do everything you can to help the child. But with the syndrome being the way it is, if things don't quite turn out as we wish, I hope you'll be...
Fremine, why do you bring this up all of a sudden? Didn't we just promise Zeria that we'll be optimistic about...
It's not that I'm not optimistic.
Ah, so that's why you looked like you knew exactly what she was talking about. Wait,
No. Please don't misunderstand. I've never had it. I've just seen many cases of it at the House of the... They say there are many factors surrounding the development of this illness. I've heard everything from hereditary factors and one's state of mind, and from the cases I've seen, there weren't many positive outcomes. In the worst cases, the patient could even...
What? It could get that serious?
Yeah, that's just the nature of it. So if you'll find it difficult to cope with the worst case scenario, I would prefer that you back...
Yeah, that's right. Paimon's seen all of those...
Really? Then in that case...
Yeah! But Paimon has a question. If this illness can really be as bad as you've... After all, we'll just be using a toy as Telькси and some ruins as the Kingdom of Water Imps. The whole...
Well, I think it should be able to do something. To harbor a fantasy, but if we can help him regain control and escape from the darkness, we'll be able to change his world. Like helping someone who's lost their voice be able to speak again.
Oh, Paimon sees what you're saying now. Huh. How do you understand all of this so...
Well, maybe because I've also had many of my own dreams in the past. I even had my own fairy tale. So you remembered.
What Penguin Town? Why doesn't Paimon remember? Is that also a fairy tale world? Don't leave Paimon in the dark! Hey, why did you put that...
It's just... Anyway, Penguin Town is a peaceful place, and Pear is the town's Pear?
But didn't you make Pear your...
Well, I often think that Pear only came to me because he realized...
Fremine, are you...
No, I don't think so. I can still differentiate between... It might just be hidden, which is why it's difficult.
Specific times? Like when you put on your...
Yeah.
Really? Paimon just said that because you put on your helmet.
Have you ever observed the surface world from underwater? It's as if you're viewing a whole different world from the outside. It's a very surreal feeling. Both alienating, but also as if you're... I have a similar feeling when I put on my diving helmet. In those moments, it's possible to see...
Really? Like a miracle?
Well, if that's in order.
Hey, now's not the time! Fremine still has Telksi's weapon.
Right. I still have to collect some tools I'll need to craft the weapon. I've got to finish everything before tomorrow. Thanks for all of your help. I'll be off for now.